Hey there, YouTube. Crypto Force here again, bringing you some more cryptocurrency news from around the world. It's looking better every day. We got some bigger players coming in each and every day. There's several headlines today that are pretty interesting to talk about. The first one we'll start out with, just like the title says here, Bitcoin skeptic Mark Cuban to invest in cryptocurrency fund. Now, Mark Cuban, as you know, in June when all the cryptocurrencies took off and they skyrocketed real high, Mark Cuban was one that made the open statement of, oh, Bitcoin's in a bubble, this cryptocurrency market's in a bubble. And sure enough, the next day, it plummeted from like $3,000 down to, I believe it was around $1,800 mark or so. Now, that can't all be blamed on Mark Cuban, obviously, because whenever stocks go hyperbolic like that, or, currencies, whatever it might be, it's got to come back down. And it had a really quick recovery, and then it topped those gains in a lot of cases, like with Bitcoin and several other coins. But what's interesting is Mark Cuban has not only decided to get involved in this ICO of One Confirmation, but also he has partners, Andreessen Horowitz, which is a capital firm group. They're both billionaires. I'm not sure who this Bali Srinivasan is, but JavaScript founder Brendan Eich, who, if you look up cryptocurrencies, he's the founder of BAT, which is a really good price right now. It's around 18 cents. And so, you have a lot of really influential people that are, like I said, billionaires moving into the market. Now, what One Confirmation is supposed to do, the fund will focus investments in projects that help developers build decentralized applications rather than those aimed at end users, on the belief that the sector isn't mature enough for blockchain applications to be adopted on a mass scale. So this is more of a ICO that's going to be more infrastructure for the other blockchains before all this stuff does get adopted on a wide scale and is used globally on a global scale. Now, I believe the founder of this company is actually a former manager at Coinbase. So, there's a lot of connections there, and it's interesting to see how all these people are, starting to slowly move into the market, and they're being more and more positive about this market. So, as always, I'll put the links to these stories if you want to read further into it and maybe dissect it some more yourself. But it's good to see these bigger investors moving into these funds and into the crypto market and get some mainstream attention, because this is on Bloomberg News. It's also on CNBC and several other mainstream news media outlets. And the next article we have is Forbes, and it talks about Wall Street cowboy traders find new riches in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And basically, to make a long story short on this, it talks about some of these gentlemen that are big traders on the different stock exchanges and treasuries over the years, how they converted over to cryptocurrencies. And this particular guy they're talking about here, this Mike Kormoransky, he actually retired in June after the explosion of the cryptocurrencies this year, when everything went out the roof. And as it goes down, it talks about the difference in the way the stock market is now, and the cryptocurrency is kind of like the Wild West. I mean, it's anything goes. We don't know if there is a bubble or not, but cryptocurrency pretty much seems like it's here to stay, and there's a lot of money to be made in it. So that's good. It's in Forbes, another mainstream media outlet. Now, going back to what I was talking about yesterday about how the U.S. says, lawmakers are trying to regulate, put regulations on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and so forth here in the United States. Well, lo and behold, India, they're talking about this whole segment. It says, with attacks soaring, India races to regulate cryptocurrencies. Now, it is good, this is also in Bloomberg, it is good that it's getting regulated to an extent, because stuff does need to be regulated. But with this, in this article, they're talking about all these terrorists, kidnappers, the different drug cartels, everybody is basically asking for Bitcoin as forms of payment because it's anonymous. You don't know who's getting it to the address it's coming to, or once that address gets it, it can automatically ship it to another address, and it just kind of gets lost by the way, so you never really know who's getting the money, who's controlling it. So these countries are saying that's the reason that basically they need to start imposing taxes and passing laws against cryptocurrency, or they're going to have to stop it, is what it says. It says the June presentation made to the finance minister lists a number of concerns about virtual currencies. It explored banning trade in cryptocurrencies, regulating and taxing it, or treating it as a digital asset similar to gold. Still, some of these strategies may not be the most effective way forward, said Amit Jaju, Executive Director at Ernst & Young's Ltd's Fraud Investigation and Dispute Services. Now, obviously, there's going to be so much money to be made in taxing it that they are going to control it. They're not going to ban cryptocurrencies, I can guarantee you that. I mean, there's just too much money to be made. This, I do believe, is the future of currency, the way that we'll be doing exchanges. So, take it for what it's worth, but it's, they're going to regulate it more, but at the same time, it's going more mainstream, and it's just a matter of time before more countries start adopting different cryptocurrencies and will really make this stuff go out the roof. Now, the next and the final article I have to talk about for any of you miners out there, the Asus B250 Mining Expert motherboard with 19 PCIe slots. Okay, so Asus, it's no secret they've been developing graphic cards specifically for mining. There's some good and bads about them. I really don't like the warranties they give out on them, because the warranties are, I think they're 90 days, as to where if you buy a gamer GPU, it's, I believe, 2 years. So, that kind of doesn't make sense for me to buy a mining GPU. But anyhow, they are producing these motherboards now with 19 PCI slots. Now, obviously, I think they can only put about 16 GPUs on it, because Windows, I think you'd have to run 8 of like an NVIDIA and 8 of an Asus. But they also, you can fractionalize this, and I believe it has, let's see, 20. Okay. And now for the final piece of news. It's more of a hardware. This is more hardware news than cryptocurrency, but for you guys that like mining, especially GPU mining, this is the newest, latest, and greatest. Asus has come out with a motherboard with 19 PCI slots. Now, I believe it can only run about 16 GPUs, because with Windows you can run 8 NVIDIA and 8 AMD, but you can also have up to 3 power supplies hooked to this motherboard. And this thing is a beast. I'm not sure what the price of it is. They didn't give a whole lot of detail about it. Let's see what we got on here. Let's see what this says about it. But this will be a substantial upgrade, because I have a GPU mining rig. It runs 6 RX 580s, and I cannot imagine what the power bill would be running 16 GPUs. Or the heat output off of it. So let's see here. They're basically building this rig to not just have 12 or 13 PCIe slots like ASRock and BioStar, but they're going to have 19. So there again it says, but then again, more than 16 at this point might not be possible. So you can basically run 16 GPUs with this motherboard. This thing is a beast. I do not know the cost of it, but it is coming out. So for you GPU miners, this is probably your next big thing to make it nice and compact, to put 16 GPUs together. So as long as availability of the GPUs are there, this might be your thing, your Christmas present to yourself or something, but mine is still going strong. So if anybody has any more information or ideas or thoughts about any stuff we discussed, if you will, just drop a link or just write it in the comments below. Otherwise, Crypto Force signing out.